Top five, top five. What is up, home slices, and welcome to the Submedia Reviews YouTube channel. I'm your host, Kiara, and today we are back with another top five video, and I'm really excited about this one. But before we get into it, I have to take a quick second because as of this recording, we have officially crossed a major milestone over here at Submedia Reviews. We hit 100 subscribers just a few days ago as of the recording of this video. So I want to say a super special thank you to everyone who is subscribed, who is supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. And if you aren't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Like, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well so you can say that you got in on the ground floor over here, okay? We have a lot of great things coming up, and I'm really excited for them. So, if you're new here over at Submedia Reviews, we have a podcast and a YouTube channel where we review old movies, TV shows, and music that are at least 20 years old, and we ask the big questions. Does it hold up today, and is it worth revisiting? So if you're into nostalgia-based reviews, we have almost 80 episodes waiting for you right here on YouTube or on any podcast platform that you prefer. So make sure you check those out. But today we're doing something a little bit different. We are doing a top five episode on our top sports movies. Now, this is a video series here on the channel where I invite a few special guests to come on and count down their top five picks around a specific media topic. It's all about celebrating the stuff we love, hearing different perspectives, and sparking a few little friendly debates along the way. And since we are closing out March in honor of March Madness, we're here doing sports movies. So I have three fellow media YouTubers here to help me do just that. And of course, we want to hear your list too, so put those down below in the comments section. Now, let's meet our guest. First up, we have Peter from the YouTube channel Peter Meets Films. Peter, go ahead and say hi and tell the people a little bit about your channel.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. My name is Peter. I run a YouTube channel called Peter Meets Film, where we review movie and TV shows on a weekly basis. I used to do it on a weekly basis. I took a bit of a hiatus, but your boy's coming back very soon, so definitely check it out in April, where I will start releasing new content very, very soon, and you can see my cool, beautiful face again. So, thank you.
Nice, nice. We'll be glad to have you back, Peter. All right. Next up, we have Jason from Screens In. Jason, say hi and tell the people where they can find you.
Hey guys, Jason here. The channel name is Screen Zen, screen_Zen if you want to look me up. So the channel is really about movies that I like watching, nostalgia movies. I'm actually coming out with two new segments that I'm working on right now. One is I Remember the Movie, and one is I Wish It Was a Movie. So the I Wish It Was, taking news, wishing it was a movie. And I Remember is the nostalgia kick. So I can kind of go back into my childhood and younger years and kind of pull from movies that I absolutely loved. So.
All right, cool. Thanks so much, Jason, for being here. You all might recognize him from a top five video that we did earlier this year where we talked about soundtracks. So thanks again for coming back, Jason. And last but absolutely not least, we have Frank from Geek Spot News. Frank, go ahead and tell the folks where they can find you.
So I double dip. I do two podcasts. Monday nights on YouTube, I do a geek podcast with my friend Jack. It's called Geek Spot News. We have 214 episodes, I think we're up to now. We talk about movie, TV news. We go over what we watch. We talk about trailers a little bit. We cram a lot into an hour. It's a lot of fun. And through that podcast, I met T, and we started a wrestling podcast together. It's called The Island of Relevancy. We go live. I think The Island usually goes Wednesday or Thursday, and The Geek goes on Monday. And T and we talk about what happened the week before in wrestling. Usually we stick to WWE, so we'll talk Raw and SmackDown, and at any major event, one of their PLEs that happened. I have a ton of fun just sitting there, just talking movies and wrestling and everything nerd that you could possibly do. It's wonderful.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, very happy to have you here. This is my first time collaborating with Peter and Frank, so thanks again for joining me. Really happy to have you all here and excited to discuss our top five sports movies. All three of them make really great content around media, so I think you'll enjoy their channels. So once you're done here, go over and subscribe. I'm going to have all of their information down in the description box below, so make sure you show them some love. Now, before we get into our list, I like to kick things off with an icebreaker question just to kind of get our brains in sports mode, okay? So today's question is, who do you think is the greatest athlete of all time, and what makes them untouchable in your eyes? I'll go ahead and say, Frank, you're up first. Who is your GOAT?
I live in Philadelphia. So coming from Philly sports, Michael Jordan is the absolute greatest athlete of all time.
Okay.
Two back-to-back three-peats, 6-0 in the finals. 6 times he was the NBA MVP. And I'm not even a big basketball fan. I don't watch basketball much. I'm a hockey, baseball, football guy. But it's to me, it's Michael Jordan, 100%.
Okay, Michael Jordan. It's hard to argue. A little hard to argue with the Michael Jordan pick. Okay, Jason, what about you? You're up next. Who's your GOAT?
Yes. So Frank took the words right out of my mouth. And I'll be honest with you guys. So I'm here as kind of a sports layman. So I'm not really into sports, but I do love the movies. But if I had to choose, it would be Michael Jordan, only because every time I hear a conversation about like the top three, the GOAT, they always try to compare people to him, but then the conversation always falls flat. Michael Jordan has done too much, in terms of, you hear about the flu game, like who's doing that? You know what I mean? The championships. There's a lot of comparisons between LeBron and himself, but every conversation I've heard, LeBron always seems to be left wanting. So I have to say Michael Jordan.
Okay, all right, another Michael Jordan pick. Peter, are we going to be 3-0, or do you have a different pick?
So I did pick Michael Jordan in the beginning,
Okay.
but I think we have a new challenger. And look, I think any sport's a good sport, and any sport should be recognized. And I think eating hot dogs is a great sport. And I'm going to give it up for Joey Chestnut. That's right. That's right, baby. We're talking about 16-time winner from a Nathan Famous hot dog eating contest. This man is a legend every time he brings it in. He holds the most records for eating the most hot dogs, and he is just phenomenal. What a great guy, a great sport, as a great record for Joey Chestnut to eat. I would never ever eat that many hot dogs in my life, but I believe his record right now, he has a record of eating 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That's insane.
Wow.
I think that's an achievement. So yeah, Joey Chestnut, the GOAT.
I like that pick.
I
like it a lot,
It is an
actually.
unorthodox
Definitely
pick.
outside the box.
Yes.
Yep.
I love that. Very unique, very outside of the box. I have a little bit of knowledge about Joey Chestnut. I won't go into it, but it was a little traumatic. Anyways, so
You can tell me
love
off
all
air.
those answers. I love all those answers, but for me, number one top athlete is Serena freaking Williams. Like,
Okay.
are
I'm not
you
mad
kidding?
at that pick.
No,
Yeah.
not mad at that at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. One of the most decorated and respected tennis players to ever pick up a racket. The titles, the records, the amount of longevity that she had in her career. She has basically done it all. And, crip walking at the Super Bowl. On top of that, too.
Yes. Yes.
But I think the thing that sets her over the top for me is that she won the Grand Slam title while pregnant, which is something that no male
That's
athlete can
different.
ever say.
That's
And
different.
it's like to be growing a human and still be dominating. That's like That's top tier. Like,
Yeah,
that's S tier athleticism. So, yeah,
I agree with
she's
that.
number one for me.
I agree.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Can't argue.
Oh, well, we're in sports mode now. So let's talk about our criteria. The criteria that you use to pick your top five movies says a lot about you. So before we get into our, top five, I want us to each kind of go around and say what were the criteria you used to pick the movies that are on your list. What were you looking for? How did you decide which movies made the cut? So first up, we're going to start with Jason. Jason, tell us a little bit about how you made your choices.
Yes, so mine was very simple. It was like, did I enjoy the movie? One, would I rewatch the movie? Two, and I guess, did it do anything to me when like emotionally, when I saw it? So I'll say those are my three criteria. Yeah,
Okay. All right,
I'm
cool.
gonna stick to that.
Peter, what about you?
I look at these movies on how they impact me in my life. The rewatchability, which is tough for my top five because there's a lot of sports movies that I really want to include. Some are great to rewatch, some are hard to revisit. I'll tell you that much. Some don't age well, and some do. So I really have to decide, is this worthy as a top five? I think as a top 10, I could easily do that. But when we're talking the top five, that was a hard list to pull. So something that really impacted me, something I could look back into, and does it have a lot of rewatchability? So
Okay. All right. All right. Kind of similar. Okay. Frank, what was your criteria?
Mostly the same. It's rewatchability. A couple of these movies that I have on my list, I've watched no fewer than 10 times. No fewer. There's mostly it's, is there actually sports in the movie? Is it not just, is it a movie where there's a little bit of sports and it you know what I mean? That it's more story than
Mm-hmm.
sports. One of my movies is kind of like that, but I tried to pick movies where they're actually playing the sport a little bit more than they're doing the story.
Okay. Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. I love all of that. It seems a very, very similar. But for me, my number one priority was diversifying my list. I didn't want a list that had multiple football or baseball like movies. I wanted to kind of spread it out across different sports. I also wanted to think outside of the box and maybe have one or two picks where you're like, is that a sports movie? Does that qualify? So I wanted it to be to feel like I was spreading the love, around, because sports are like really different. Like for some people, they might consider chess to be a sport, right? Like not a lot of physical athleticism, but mentally it's quite stimulating. So it just kind of depends what's going on. So honestly, the biggest thing for me was about feeling. I gravitated towards movies that made me feel something. I particularly love a good underdog story. So that is kind of a thread that you'll see, that is woven between all of my picks. But, having somebody that's not supposed to win, somebody who had to overcome obstacles and finding a way to come out on top, those are the stories that resonate with me a lot. And I love a triumphant ending. So you'll see that a lot in my picks. And I think the amount of like feel good kind of outweighed the rewatchability for me, which rewatchability is everything when it comes to sub media reviews. But I think there are some movies on my list that are harder to rewatch because of the underdog element, but are still loom very largely for me. So, yeah, I think you'll be able to see what I'm talking about as we go throughout our list. All right, well, cool beans. Let's go ahead and get ready for the countdown. We're going to reveal our picks one spot at a time. We'll start with number five and we'll work our way down to number one, okay? Are y'all ready?
whew, I'm ready.
Okay.
Nervous.
All right, let's
Mm.
let's do this. All right, Peter, you are going to go ahead and go first and share your number five pick with us. What do you have?
It's funny how I mentioned I need to, pick my movies based on rewatchability as well. But I do have to agree with Kiara about having an underdog story. But I will say I love a good true story. And for this pick, some may disagree with me because I think it is a hard watch. I'm going to go with number 5, The Iron Claw. This movie is
Mm,
very underrated. It hits a lot and a lot of like mental themes. I mean, like some hard hitting like depression in this film based on a family about the Von Erichs and their curse and what they dealt with as a family and losing a brother along the way with fame and fortune. And sometimes it's not about the fame and fortune, it's about feeling love and appreciation. But there's a lot of trauma that comes with some of this fame that goes with it, especially with their father. I think this is a movie that was very underrated. I think it should have got nominated for a lot of awards during the nomination season. One of the more better Zac Efron performances too. And yes, it is a tough watch, but I will say this movie definitely touched my soul. It definitely want to like reflect a lot on like how we view people, especially like a lot of, like celebrities, a lot of, like sports figures, and that they are just human too. And I think the Iron Claw deserves to be in my top 5.
Okay,
good choice.
we're gonna have to backtrack a little bit because I have no idea what you're talking about. What
Oh my
sport?
god.
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Okay.
Wrestling. I should have mentioned that before too.
Just straight up.
Wrestling movie,
I
guys.
don't know this movie. I don't know this movie.
Oh my
I don't think
god.
I've ever heard of it. You said Zac Efron. Who else is in it?
Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson, Sammy Simons. I mean, it's a stat cast. A24, released in 2003. It was
Oh,
definitely under the radar, especially
oh,
during the award
2003.
season.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too far newish, but still relevant. But definitely put on your list if you want to watch a good movie and bring some tissues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. It looked like both Jason and Frank knew what you were talking about. So that's that's great. Yeah. Okay. Great pick as far as I can see. All right. I'll go next and share my number 5. Okay. Now this is the one that's probably going to be the hardest to justify as a sports movie, but I put it on my list anyway. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Quidditch?
No, the tournament, the Triwizard Tournament.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Oh,
Okay.
Wow, I wasn't expecting
whoa.
that.
No, not at all.
Okay, all right, y'all, hear me out a little bit because I
I'm
have to make a
listening.
little bit of a case for it. It came out in 2005, and from my criteria, I told you all that I wanted to think outside of the box, and I was trying to think: are there sci-fi movies that have like a sports or athletic or competition element that could fit? And so for me, some of the other options were things like Tron, which, not one of my faves. But as a big fan of Harry Potter, if you think about the Triwizard Tournament in the Goblet of Fire, I think it checks the list, okay? Because if you think about sporting events, you have competitors, they represent different schools, we have judges, we have a crowd, we have a stadium, we have commentators and press that are covering the event, we have physically demanding challenges, we got dragons, we got swimming, you know, diving into the water to save people. We got navigating a maze. So I think that this counts as athleticism, as competition, and as a sport. So for me, Harry was the underdog in this story because he's not supposed to participate in this tournament. He's actually too young. So he's the least experienced, the least resourced. And the other competitors are, older and more experienced. And he is still expected to compete and survive because people die in this tournament. So the stakes are like super high. But, half the school thinks that he cheated to get in. There's some stuff going on in the background with Voldemort and all of that stuff. So he figures things out and he managed to win, but winning wasn't the best thing because y'all, Cedric died during this tournament. And I read this book, and I think this was the first book that actually made me cry. I was literally crying when Cedric passed away when I was reading the book. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's back, So, this movie helped kind of change the tone a little bit for the series because, Voldemort actually made a return. But I do think that this movie, with all of the challenges and everything in the tournament, is actually like a fantastic movie. I really enjoy it, and it's one of my favorite of the books. So yeah. What do you all think? Did I make a good enough case to count this as a sports movie, or am I tripping?
I think ESPN just fell to their knees. I would never ever would think Harry Potter would be under the sports category, but it makes sense. It does make sense.
I was gonna.
I
Go ahead.
wouldn't put it on mine, but I you turned me. I turned the corner.
Okay.
Because when you said Harry Potter, in my head I was like, Quidditch. That's a sport. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then also when she said the Tri-Wizard, I was like, isn't that like a decathlon? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many for 5, but it's like they had multiple. Like they had a swim, they had a dive. What else they do? Maze.
Yeah.
That was a good case.
It works.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm glad that y'all at least semi agree with me.
It was definitely a head scratcher at first.
Yes, it was gonna be hard. Yes, but okay, cool. All right, let's move on. Frank, what is your number 5 pick?
Rocky 3. So Rocky won an Oscar, and that's great. It was a great story, but there was like 10 minutes of boxing in Rocky. And Rocky 2 is another great entry in the series. But to me, Rocky 3, on top of the fact that when we were kids, we had a bootleg copy of it, and me and my friends would watch it every single day over the entire summer. I have seen that movie probably more times than any other movie in my life, just because that was one we had and we kept watching. It tells a complete story from the beginning to the end, where he's on top, he loses his manager, he hits rock bottom. We get one of the best training montages of the time in an 80s movie. And then he overcomes all the difficulty and wins in the end. And he's going to win in the end. But it's still, you get that endorphin rush that he wins in the end. And at the time, Hulk Hogan was in it. And at the time, Hulk Hogan being in a movie was like, wrestlers weren't in movies. Hulk Hogan is larger than life. To me, it was hard to fit that at 5 with all the other movies below 5.
Okay, I'm gonna make a confession. I don't think I've watched any Rocky movies. I've actually gotten Rocky and Rambo confused quite a bit, personally. But it is one that I should definitely look into because I would like to watch those before I watch the Creed movies. Yeah.
You should watch it before you watch the Creed movies. And the fact that they bring Apollo Creed back to train Rocky after Rocky beat him, and Apollo kind of goes in and goes, "Hey man, you're the chosen one now. Let me help you get back to basics." And just the different training montages. Now, when they go to Rocky 4, the training montage takes on a whole new level and is probably one of the most awesome parts of the movie. 3 and 4 were kind of almost interchangeable.
Okay.
Definitely watch them before Creed. It actually helped set Creed up.
Yeah.
As the movie that Creed is, which is another sensational movie.
All right, cool. Y'all have any thoughts on Rocky before we move on?
I think he's nervous.
I love Rocky. But my favorite Rocky is actually the one with Tommy Gun.
Wow, really?
I like that one. Yeah.
That's a bold pick.
Because it's like when it's funny because like when I think about like Rocky 1 and everything else, it's like you're seeing this man's journey and it's very, dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
For this Rocky, I felt like I liked the fact that the young blood was coming in and challenging him. That's the part, and he has and he's done this a couple of times by then. And then they're just trying to kind of take him down, and use a Tommy gun against him. So I don't know. I like that dynamic. It is not the best Rocky, but that's the one I can kind of go back to.
Okay.
All right, neat. All right, Jason, you are up. What's your number 5 pick?
All right, guys, you ready? So number 5 is Cool Runnings. And the reason
Okay.
why is because a lot of the things that I know about the world come from like movies and documentaries and such. This wasn't a documentary per se, right? But it was a definitely a sports comedy. And I was young when I watched this, but I didn't know that this was actually a true story. So it was one of those things where I was like, oh, okay. And I you learn about Jamaica being bobsledder, how crazy that even sounds. And the thing about it is, I remember this being the first movie where they didn't win. Like they lost at the end because that's what happened in real life. So, in watching this, there was a lot of different, I guess, cinematic themes that were brought to my attention that the good guy might not win all the time. That was one. And just the heart of this movie, when I was watching it as younger, is the thing that got me. So this made me a little bit emotional during the, how Disney does it with the music in the background and they're having a serious conversation. The feels were there. So, and I always used to watch this whenever I was at my aunt's house. So there's a nostalgia to it. Yep.
Okay,
I like that.
cool. I've actually reviewed it before, and I also love that. It's
Yes, I
like,
think I think I saw that.
yeah, Jamaica and no snow, and them figuring it out,
Right.
and freaking John Candy. I
Yeah,
love John
so
Candy.
and also who was in it, because when you're a kid watching this stuff, you're not sure of who's who, right? But when you get older, you're like, oh, I remember seeing Leon, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in a movie.
Mhm.
That might have been before I've even seen him in like what Temptations or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then Dougie Doug and then Malik Yoba, so even growing up watching like New York Undercover, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew who these people were because of the movies I've watched. So that was a stacked cast, but actually, as I'm looking at it, but yeah,
That movie, I didn't realize it was a true story. So when they lost at the end, I was
yeah,
heartbroken until I realized it was a true
right,
story and that actually happened. I was like, oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
yeah,
It's kind of interesting
love it.
how Disney had a great run of like sports movies. Like there's some all-time classics in there, and
Hell
Cool
yeah.
Runnings is definitely part of that, and that would definitely be in my top 10.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, cool. Let's move on to our number 4 picks. I'm gonna kick us off this time. My number 4 pick, another one that I would consider a little unorthodox, but not as far out as Harry Potter. Bring It On. Bring It On came out the summer of 2000, and I'm gonna go on record and say cheerleading is absolutely a sport. The
yeah,
amount
sure.
of athleticism, tumbling, lifting that they have to do definitely qualifies them as athletes, and they are incredible. But Bring It On gave us so much. We have Kirsten Dunst, who I remember being shocked at how much she had grown up, because the last time I saw her was Jumanji. So I was like, oh my gosh, she grew up so fast. But we also have Gabrielle Union, which I think this is the first movie that exposed me to her, and also we have the R&B group Black. All three of them are featured in this film as well, and I love their music. And they play members of the Clovers, the Black cheerleading squad, and the team. I really enjoyed that too. But beyond all of the fun and campiness, there's a lot of comedy that happens in this movie. There's iconic choreography. There are quotables about spirit fingers and all of those things. I like that this movie talks about basically appropriation, and how the white cheerleading squad finds out that their championship legacy was basically built on routines that they stole from the black cheerleaders from, an underprivileged and under-resourced school. And so the East Compton Clovers never got the credit for those resources, and in this movie we get to see what happened. So the white cheerleading squad, who is now led by Kirsten Dunst, has to reckon with that and has to basically say the team is under new management and figure out their own way of rectifying that. So I like that the story is about making amends, about making it on your own, about allyship and what that actually looks like. And finally, when the Clovers get the opportunity to go to the cheer competition, we have this underestimated squad that gets the platform that they always deserve, and they are victorious, which again makes this another underdog story. So, and we get to do it in like a
Mm.
fun and comedic way.
That was definitely one of my honorable mentions.
Okay, nice.
So I had that on the honorable mentions list. Absolutely love that film. It's funny because my daughter, she's currently doing cheer. So uh never had to go to like the cheer events and all of that. So actually being in it, seeing her do it, and the level of organization that it takes, for the team not to drop anyone, not to mess up the trying, the pyramids and all of that. Um, it's definitely a sport, you know, and yeah, I think they work just as hard as anyone else. So
My mom, my sisters growing up were in cheerleading, and they did competitions, and not that big grand stage that they do in the movie, like, but my mom ran is like a local youth organization. All the neighborhoods in Philly have little organizations, and they have a football team for the neighborhood. And so my mom ran the cheerleading, and they got to perform in front of city council, Philadelphia City Council, which was a big thing at the time. And so, yeah, it absolutely is a sport, and the amount of practice and stuff that goes into that. I didn't have it on my list, but it absolutely, and I will admit I've seen that movie probably 4 or 5 times.
God, I only seen the movie one time, but I know cheerleading is such an extravagant sport, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. I've known people who've done cheerleading, and there's a lot of dedication involved. Like a lot of choreography, a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears going through it. So yeah, that's a great pick, 100%.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right, Frank, let's see what your number four is.
All right. It was tough to put this one
Ooh.
above a couple others. But at number 4, I went hockey, and I went way back, and I took Slapshot. And while it's not the most up to date movie, there's a lot of themes in that movie that do not work today. Um, it's one of the most quotable movies between my friends and I that we'll still to this day throw out in text messages.
Hmm.
I was kind of flip flopping between this and Youngblood, another old hockey movie. Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, I think it's Keanu Reeves' first role. But Slapshot, the biggest name in the cast was Paul Newman, and it told a true story, or mostly true, not true story, but it gave you a look at what a small town, working town hockey team looks like at that time. I have to keep saying at that time because it's nothing like that anymore. It's crass. It's definitely got themes that don't fit today, but it's such a funny movie. And the Hanson brothers came out of that movie, which most people, even people that aren't hockey fans, know the Hanson brothers, the three twins with the glasses that skate around. And in the movie, they beat everybody up. And they did a big tour a couple years back and went around to all the NHL arenas and for something for the movie. And it's just, and it was the actual three actors. And to me, it's one of the better hockey told stories, because they play hockey and they get into actual play in hockey, not just kind of glossing past it.
Okay, what year did it come out? Do you know?
Oh, I want to say 78, maybe.
Ooh.
It's definitely 77.
Okay.
I was close. Yeah, 1977. So again, a lot of the themes from a 1977 movie definitely do not hold water in 2026.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about hockey too. It would have been more of like a Mighty Ducks for me, as far as hockey is concerned. But
Yep.
yeah, I haven't seen this movie, but it sounds interesting.
yeah, it's a good choice, Frank. It's funny. I actually saw that movie for the first time maybe 2 months ago, and only because of Paul Newman.
Oh,
So I have a and Kira, I'm sorry, I don't know if we're going to be talking about honorable mentions later
We will.
or okay. So it's because of one of my honorable mentions that I even checked that movie out. So
okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay, nice. Love the salad dressing. Um,
And the popcorn, I think, right?
is it? I don't know about the popcorn.
I think he
Okay.
does the popcorn too.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm
Cool.
thinking Redenbacher. Excuse me. No.
That's totally different.
Let me stop playing with Paul
no.
Newman.
Very, very different. No, he did the salad dressing. Yes.
It's not Orville. No. Okay. All right.
No, Orville is a way different person.
Yes. All right. Jason, you're up next. What's your number 4 pick?
All right, so tell them you're a Disney kid without telling them you're a Disney kid. So my next one is Remember the Titans.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is football with, of course, Denzel Washington, Ryan Gosling, Ryan Hurst, Wood Harris, and a whole bunch of others. But this is, again, a life thing for me. So watching this, I remember learning about, racism and things of that nature and how they overcame it. But I think that this movie did a good job of showing the times, but within like what was it, high school? I think they were in high school at that time. And I don't remember the last time I've seen a movie like that dealt with racism in high school on a sports field, but the fact that it's a feel good, it can get campy at times, and I love that. And movies like this really bring you like hope in humanity, you know what I mean? It's like it is possible, man. So but then Denzel, this is one of the movies that I've, when I was younger, allowed to watch, you know what I mean? So but he does an amazing job. And Ryan Hurst is in it, and I recently did a video where he was talking about him being Kratos, in the new live action God of War, and not really thinking that's the best choice, but it brought me back to Remember the Titans. And I watched this about maybe 10 or 15 times. I've seen this a lot. But it's one of those sports movies that always makes me feel good. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to debate that and say, why wasn't that higher on your list?
So, you know what? I have my 5, and I wasn't about to put them in order.
Fair enough.
I wasn't about to do
Fair
that.
enough.
Yeah. A little difficult.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Denzel, we love him. I actually am technically related to Denzel. He's like a third cousin.
Whoa.
Okay.
I have never
Excuse
met
me.
him, but like his great grandparent was a sibling of like my great grandparent. So there's a loose connection there. But
I'm going to need your autograph.
Bring him to the podcast. I will love to be a guest.
If I ever meet him, we'll have something to talk about. But yeah.
Hey, Denzel,
but
what kind of blood?
Right. Hey, we cousins. Yeah. I wonder how many times he gets that. But another interesting thing is I was at like a dinner party like maybe 2-ish years ago, and there was a person there who I didn't know them, but I was like, she looks so familiar. And I recognized that she was a child when I would have seen her. And I kept thinking maybe she was on a show like That's So Raven. I kept thinking Disney, but I was thinking television show. And finally, I just got the courage to say, you look so familiar to me. Were you like a child actor? And she was actually Denzel's daughter in Remember the Titans.
Oh,
And
snap.
That's so cool.
yeah, I was like, shut up. It was so
Wow.
crazy. But it is a
That's
very
pretty cool.
good movie. It has, that tragic scene that came out of nowhere with the car accident, and I'm like, whoa, like fantastic story about, triumph and underdogs and all of that good stuff. So I am on board with Remember the Titans.
Same. 100%.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Peter. Peter, what is your number 4 pick?
All right. So this one, when we talk about rewatchability, I watched this movie a couple days ago. Now, I still think it holds up. And I'm going to just go off the quotes off this movie, and you're going to just tell me if you know based on your reaction of it. So, remember the 5 Ds of dodgeball: dodge, duck, dive, and dodge. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. You're going down, LaFleur. You're gonna sweat like a sweat muffin. We're talking dodgeball. All right, one of the more funniest movies I've seen in a long time. It has such great comedic moments. I watched that movie so many times when I was like a teenager. Watching it again, I'm still laughing at some of the jokes. Some of them don't really land well, but it's just something about the characters, the story behind like dodgeball. Because even dodgeball is a fun sport. We all played in high school and middle school. I love playing that game. I got smacked in the face so many times by a freaking rubber ball, and at the same time, you know what? It's still fun, and that movie just makes dodgeball fun, man. I mean, one of my favorite Ben Stiller performances, Justin Long, peak Justin Long, memorable characters like Patches O'Houlihan. It's just a fun underdog movie. It's great, it's inspirational, it's funny. I could go on and on with that movie. I could quote it any day of the week. I still think it holds up despite some jokes I don't think it's really qualified for today's times. But you know what? It's a fun watch. Watch with a group of people. I think this is one movie that, yes, it's a sports movie, but it's also a sports comedy. And I think sports comedies are pretty damn great. And I think they deserve to be in my top five because I didn't want nothing serious throughout the whole list. So, Dodgeball, you're number 4 for me.
Beautiful.
Yep. Very well explained. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I still quote that movie at work sometimes. Like, if you dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. Like, it's just great.
So I throw them out every once in a while too.
The Great Rip Torn. I mean, that cast is great too. I can't blank this guy's name top of my head. The main dude that plays Peeler 4. That's Vince Vaughn. There we go. Thank you so much. I almost said Matthew Vaughn, but Vince Vaughn. At the time, he was doing a lot of comedies too, and I still think he's funny till this day. But back then, him doing Dodgeball, very recognizable. Him and Ben Stiller, great chemistry.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious, Peter. I'm curious if you've heard of the Ben Stiller theory. Okay,
Yes.
so you have seen Heavyweights.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great theory. And I think it's
I think so too. I think so too.
So for everyone who doesn't know, they're saying that Ben Stiller's character in Dodgeball, what's his name? Dwight.
Oh my god, it's White. It's White. Like his last name is White.
Yeah,
White.
Yep. He is actually the Tony Perkis in Heavyweights. So he takes over the camp from then Ben Stiller's mother and father, actually. But he pretty much ruins it, right? No more fun, no more food, and the kids are really complaining they hate it. It's like a workout camp now. But at the end, he goes crazy and he's taken away in a car. And then, yay, it's a heroic moment. But they're saying that he changes his life at that moment, opens up a new business in California somewhere, and he's actually white,
That's funny.
His character name is White Goodman.
White Goodman.
White Goodman. I forgot about that. And I will say, shout out to Chuck Norris, the late great Chuck Norris. He was also a cameo in Dodgeball, and I was just like, oh, it's Chuck Norris. And also Alan Tudyk as Steve the Pirate is hilarious. Oh my god.
Oh yes. Yeah.
He's great in almost everything he does.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure. I've only seen Dodgeball like once or twice, but I did enjoy it a lot and think it's a great sports comedy that is, its own kind of cult classic. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on to our number 3 picks. Frank, you're going first this time.
I did the same thing where I didn't want to, and granted Slapshot's a comedy, but I didn't want all the movies to be just emotional punches. I'm a huge baseball fan, and there are so many baseball movies. But to slide into number 3, I took Major League, the original. It's got an absolutely stellar cast now. If you look at it, you have Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, Dennis Haysbert, Bob Uecker, Corbin Berenson, Rene Russo, Wesley Snipes. It's got a really, really good cast, and it's an underdog story. And the fact that they don't bring you from underdog team to win in the World Series, that this is just what you don't realize is at the end of this movie, they're just winning a divisional series. They're just the first round of the playoffs. Back then I think it was only 2 rounds of the playoffs back then. But that's all it was one win. They didn't win the World Series. They just won their first playoff game in however many years it was in Cleveland. But it's a funny movie. It's got some emotional touches to it. And, you know, they weave the love story in along the movie with Tom Berenger and Rene Russo, but overall it's just, again, another incredibly quotable movie, especially between my friends and I, and one that I keep going back to. If it's on TV, I'm watching it.
Okay, nice. Another one I haven't seen.
I still have that poster somewhere in my closet. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Baseball. I just thought it was a cool
Awesome.
poster as a kid, and I didn't even see the movie at the time when I got that poster. So years later, I was like, I'm gonna watch Major League, and I was like, this is freaking great. It's so good. Stat cast too. Oh
It really is. A lot of the movie holds up still. As with any movie made back then, there's definitely going to be parts that don't hold up right, but a lot of the jokes still land pretty good from that.
What year was that? What year did it come out? Do you know?
I want to
1989.
say 89.
89.
1989.
Okay.
Right when I graduated high school. I'm old.
I was just about to say like a year before I was born. So-
I'm old.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, cool. All right, let's move on to Jason. Jason, tell us about your number 3 pick.
All right, so another Disney one, y'all. This one is D2, The Mighty Ducks.
It's a good one.
Okay.
Absolutely love this one. So it's funny because when I was thinking about this, I realized how much more I like this more than number 1. So number 1, it was kind of like had a story there, you know. But number 2, I don't know if it's just the 90s, but whenever a kids movie does well, they redo it for the sequel, but then they just give it a bigger budget. And then it's like more of the same thing. It's like, we know you love this. That's exactly what they gave us in number 2. But what happened is you're meeting new people. It's now bigger in that it's a world championship, and you get to meet some of our favorite people. Like Russ comes into the picture. We start seeing, Kenan Thompson's character. A lot more different moves, like I call them special moves from the Mighty Ducks. Like when they're just slapping it around and like knuckle puck. Who's doing a knuckle puck, right? Like, anyway. But then, you get like the cowboy from Texas. You get, the goalie, the other goalie from Canada. So you're now seeing, it's almost like an international Mighty Duck movie, right? And the way that it starts is Charlie's given the duck call and he has to go get all the ducks together. That was, when I was younger, it was like the best, like, get the gang back together type deal, like scene. I absolutely love that scene. But yeah, so that's definitely on my top 5. Love it.
Love Mighty Ducks.
All those movies, right?
Yeah. I have to go back and revisit them. I haven't watched them maybe since I was a child. So
Did they make a series on Disney Plus for the Mighty Ducks not too long ago?
They did.
How was that?
They did. It's called Game Changers or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Should have been
It-
Icebreakers, but maybe not. Anyway,
It
but,
exists.
I watched it. It was nowhere near as good as the movies. I already know. Frank's like, don't even try to compare.
Okay.
It exists.
It's a shadow of what the movies were, truly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just good to see the name. And it's funny because even in there, they did have some of the original cast, show up. So I was happy they did that, but it's not the same.
Got it. So I'm definitely avoiding it. Good choice.
Yeah. I mean, leave it on in the background. You might like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's there.
Yeah. It's like phase 4 of the MCU.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fair enough.
okay. All right, cool beans. All right, Peter, go ahead and share your number three with us.
So I'm just gonna go back from what Jason said. My number three is gonna be Remember the Titans. I think it's just again what Jason said. It's a great movie, very inspirational. This was a movie I saw. I want to say middle school, where like the gym coach would come in with the big TV and the VHS, scrolling on through, and like, listen, you're gonna learn something today. You're gonna learn about leadership and being like a good team player, no matter whoever's in your team. And this was just a phenomenal movie. Denzel, one of his better performances, a lot of great leadership and unity like lessons involved, especially during a time where like, there was some segregation involved, and it was about bringing in two particular communities together and how to work together as well. And I just think the dynamic between everyone from the players to the coaches to really just form not just a family, but like just being a true team player to play alongside your brothers on the football field. I think that's a movie that I think every kid should watch, whether you're not into football or not. I think it's just a great inspirational movies. Again, Disney was just on a home run making sports movies, and they just knew how to crack the code at the time. And Remember the Titans, I think, is just the best one out of all of them. So yeah, that's number three for me.
Yeah.
I can't even argue
Yeah.
No notes.
a little.
Yeah. No arguments here. Yeah.
And I think this is the first crossover. No?
It is. This is
On our list.
this
Yeah.
is our first.
That's why I was like debating. It should be a little higher for you, but you're not numbering yours. So I was like, fair enough. We'll just put that on number three for me. Top three.
Okay. All right, cool beans. We're gonna wrap up number three with my pick. Okay. Number three, my baseball pick is 42.
Okay.
42 came out in 2013. And if you haven't seen this movie, please go and watch it today. It tells the story of Jackie Robinson, who in the 1940s became the first black player in modern Major League Baseball. When the Brooklyn Dodgers general manager Branch Rickey signed him to the team and basically broke baseball's color line. It was basically an all-white sport at the time. Baseball is known to be America's favorite pastime, and it wasn't very inclusive back in the day. And so Jackie Robinson became the first, black player or player of color on some of the teams or on the Dodgers, and everyone was in an uproar. It's 1947 in America, still having to deal with things like segregation, and it was a rough journey. And I feel like this movie, interestingly enough, it's more of a drama, but we get to see some of the kind of behind the things scenes that happen behind the history. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about true sports stories is that they also lay the groundwork for like what's going on underneath them, because it's not just sports. Like there's political aspects to it. Like with Remember the Titans, there's racial aspects to it. So 42 I really enjoyed. And, Jackie Robinson's legacy is so big, they actually retired his number and nobody else can wear the number 42. We also have Chadwick Boseman, who is playing Jackie Robinson. Love his performance. This was one of his early breakout roles and kind of helped to start him playing these historical figures. He played multiple historical figures across his career. And yeah, from all of the things that Jackie had to deal with, and the way that he dealt with him and the history and the way that it has still impacted the sport today, it's really great to watch that on screen. But yeah, he did it. He made history. Nobody else can do it like he did it. And he competed at the highest level, and we love him for it today. So it was just good to get some more background on that story. And so, he changed the sport entirely, and people of all races have been able to benefit it. And if we look at, baseball today, I live in the Seattle area, so I go to like 6 or 7 Mariners games, per per year, and we see people from all different types of backgrounds playing baseball today. So it really is kind of a big deal. So I love this movie.
I have to agree with you on that one. I mean, I think this is this is the role that really broke Chadwick Boseman onto like the sphere. Like he was like the biggest movie star after that. Phenomenal performance.
I love this movie, and I love the fact that every April, the entire Major League celebrates Jackie Robinson. They have Jackie Robinson Day. All the players, all the coaches, all the managers, everybody wears 42. I think it's retired in every single stadium.
Mhm.
Everybody has a retired plaque for 42. I think it's absolutely awesome. It's a great movie.
Yeah, so 42, whenever I'm watching a movie that is based on a life, the thing about it is that I never know how the things happen. But I think that this movie did, like, for instance, what was it? Harrison Ford's character actually, almost commissioning him, to be the new guy. And I didn't know any of the backstory. All you were taught in school is that, he was the first black player and all of that. But how did they actually pull that off? It was always a mystery to me. So this movie kind of opened my eyes to like the behind the scenes of it all. Yeah.
Agreed.
I love that. Okay, cool beans, y'all. We're working our way down. We're down to number 2. Jason, how about you kick us off and share your number 2 pick?
All right, here we go.
Uh-oh.
This one actually isn't Disney, though.
Oh.
Real Steel.
Whoa.
I love that movie. Boxing.
Boxing. Okay, I don't know this movie.
So it's machine boxing.
Okay, I remember. Yeah.
With Hugh Jackman.
I remember now.
Yeah.
I've seen this as an adult, mind you, a lot. So I truly enjoy this movie. Like whenever it's on, I'm watching it. I'm leaving it on in the background. It's the underdog story for real. It's like it's a father movie, and it's a underdog story, because the way I look at it, the robot Adam is the underdog because he was built for training. He wasn't supposed to win anything and all of that. But then Hugh Jackman's side of things, of being a deadbeat father and the child desperately wanting to be in his life, and the trip that they take during his fights, Hugh Jackman's fights, and how that bond grows, and then they even learn things from each other along the way. So there's a lot of themes in it, but I just love the machine fighting, the action in it, and then it has such heart, especially at the end when you see Hugh Jackman kind of getting back into his boxing bag and feeling like he used to. It's like all his worries were away. He's like smiling, he's like trying to fight the thing. It was just to me, it was a well put together film. It's a little cheesy, it's corny, but I don't mind that. I think that they did a good job portraying what they needed to portray. I'll say that. And I think the Wasp is in it. Lily.
Yep. Evangeline Lilly. Yep.
Thank you, Angeline Lilly.
That is the best adaptation of Rock and Sock and Robots I've ever seen.
That's exactly what it was.
It really is.
That's exactly what it was, and I'm like, I can't get enough.
Like it was great. I'm like, wow, they actually made that really happen, even though they didn't intentionally not to. But that's a great movie. Great one. Yeah.
I don't know this movie. I've never heard of it or watched it, but I'll have to look into it.
I
That lets us
know
game
it.
bigger.
I never saw it, but I know it.
I think I've seen it a few times. I know it was directed by Sean Levy, and
Yes.
that really brought him to like the big sphere of like movie blockbusters now too. So he knows how to do a good blockbuster film.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's a little bit of an unorthodox pick, but I like it. Okay, cool. Peter.
It's not a Rocky, but they, they got gloves on.
It works. It works.
Yes, it does work. All right, Peter, go ahead and share your number 2 pick with us.
All right, this one might be slightly controversial, but I think the original movie should have been a little bit higher, but my number 2 is going to be Creed. I really, really love Creed. I think when I first watched in theaters, I felt like a shift in my brain where I felt so motivated to like pursue something that I was deeply interested in, really like focus on like when I'm going to the gym or going for a run. I think about Creed. I think about Adonis going through his montages of, where he came from, how he was mentored, especially by Rocky. Yes, this is a continuation of the Rocky series. Yes, Rocky is not on my top 5, but it's still in the top 10 for me. But something about Creed, something about Michael B. Jordan and the direction of this film when it comes to to just being the best of the best. It could be a little cheesy at times, but I still think it holds up till this day, especially when it comes to the world of boxing, because boxing is such a popular sport. I think everyone could agree that it's one of the more entertaining sports, but there's a lot that goes to it when it comes to a physical physique, but also a mental capacity to go through it. And just seeing how Michael B. Jordan's character navigates, becoming one of the best, especially coming from like a huge inspiration from like his own father in the movie too. Creed is just one of those movies that I could go back into, rewatch many times, feel motivated. It's definitely just one of the best sports movies I've seen in a very, very long time. And I think the sequels after that still hold up to this day. And Ryan Coogler, who just won an Academy last week, 29 years old, directing this movie, still working with Michael B. Jordan to this day. Those two duos are just fantastic. And that movie solidified what they could do in Hollywood. So Creed is my number 2.
I love that Creed follows the Rocky legacy, but builds its own legacy off of that and is able to run parallel with what Sylvester Stallone built, in keeping true to that world, but then taking it your own way and building your own franchise out of that without damaging the Rocky franchise at all. Even they moved on without him, without Sylvester Stallone. Absolutely sensational job.
They had a really tippy toe making this movie, because it's like certain movies try to do that where you want to bring back an old movie and reboot it. You're tarnishing the legacy a little bit. This one does not tarnish it. I think it not just perfects it, but I think it just it brings in a new audience for people. It makes you really appreciate the art, the world of boxing, and the Rocky movies, especially for newcomers who don't know Rocky. You could watch Creed and then go back to Rocky and be like, this is where it all started. And it's an incredible film journey. Like, seriously, this is great.
I've been a huge fan of Michael B. Jordan since the Friday Night Lights TV show. And he's absolutely great in that role.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. I've been a fan of Michael B. Jordan since I saw his lovely face on Hardball when he was a child. But again, I haven't watched any Rocky or Creed movies. But the thing that I'm most intrigued about with Creed is the love story. That there is I know that there's a love story with Tessa Thompson's character.
Yes.
I think that's the thing that I feel most excited to see, because I hear a lot of people saying that they're like a really great movie couple. So
I definitely agree on that.
That's what excites me about that.
100%.
Definitely agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you said you want to watch Rocky pretty soon, but I think going from Rocky and going to Creed, like, that's going to be a fun movie adventure. I'm telling you, it is awesome. Awesome.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'll let y'all know. I'll let you know what I think. Okay. All right. My number 2, I'll go next, is Race from 2016.
Oh.
I went to go see this movie in theaters with my husband, but Race tells the story of Jesse Owens, who is played by Stephen James, and his journey from Ohio State University all the way to the 1936 Berlin Olympics. His coach is Larry Snyder, but he's played by Jason Sudeikis, who I love from Ted Lasso. It's very interesting to see who I always perceived him as a comedic actor, and to see him in a more serious role was really great in this movie. But he also brings in like a little bit of levity to balance out how heavy the other themes are in this movie. And so I talked a little earlier about how in 42 we see like the political background and everything that's happening, but the 1936 Olympics were held in Nazi Germany, and so seeing Jesse Owens' story as a black man during this crazy time in history is very fascinating, and we get to see multiple facets about how they try to sanitize their image during the Olympics, or how they try to stop certain athletes from competing, or trying to influence the outcomes of some of the different events, and the whole world was watching. This is the world stage, It's just crazy. It's crazy to think about today, about that time in history, and Jesse Owens doing something like this, walking away with, I think it was 4 gold medals at the time. It was just crazy. And then to see Jesse have to make his own decision about whether or not he would compete, because it's like, if we show up and we compete, are we condoning what's happening in Germany right now? And so it's just so many different layers. And he decided to go. He won those medals in front of Adolf himself, and it's like this. It's again, it's not just like broke multiple world records, and it's not just like the sport. It's not just running. It's not just track, but there's political things that happened that also, influenced it. So I just really enjoy the movie. And this is one of the ones where it's like a little harder to rewatch because of all of the heavier themes. But I watched it on an airplane recently, like last week, and I was like, I love this movie. I love this movie. The acting is so good. There's a little bit of a love story that's in there too. And the movie ends, even though he's triumphant, the movie still ends on this really somber note where he's being honored for his wins, and him and his wife have to use the service elevator to go into the dinner, the banquet that he's being honored at, just to be like, hey, this is still the 1930s. And even though you are this world champion, here in America, you're still a Black person. So for me, I love the triumph and the kind of realism that's behind these historical events. So yeah.
That's a movie I need to watch. Just hearing your plot details on that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a movie, honestly, but it's one that I'll put on my radar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
Definitely should watch it. Just learning the history behind it and not realizing, like literally, what was it? Maybe 9-ish years, a few years after this Olympics happened is when we go into World War II, and so we get to see how some of the buildup happens on a sports stage, and it's nuts. Like rewatching it on the plane last week, I was like, I don't know how this happened in real life. Like, it's actually quite crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I mean, this is just another one of those where it's like the behind the scenes stuff. Because Nazi Germany, and then I'm like, he did this in front of Hitler? Like, how? But but again, you watch the movie and then you understand how they were able to set that up, make it happen, or if they were trying to, like you said, downplay or not allow people to play certain sports, how they even did that. You know what I mean? But I do love that movie as well.
It's great. Y'all let me know when you check it out, because it's so good.
Definitely.
The performances are really good in it too. Okay, cool. Frank, you're the last one to share your number 2 pick. Let's hear it.
My number 2 pick has already been mentioned twice. Remember the Titans, for me, sits at number 2, and that would be an actual, like, if I rank, like I said, a loose ranking, my top 2 are top 2. Remember the Titans for all the reasons everybody else said. And this was a movie I didn't know the story ahead of time. So going then and looking up, is this real? Did this really happen? Yeah, they Hollywooded some of the movie up, but the Bertier stuff is real, and the racial, like all that stuff is real. A couple of people that were mentioned, Donald Faison was in it, and it was the first time I saw Donald Faison. I didn't really get into Clue, but following him into Scrubs, he's one of my favorite TV performers of all time.
Oh, you're talking about Clueless.
I didn't watch Clue. Did I say Clue?
Yes.
I meant Clueless. Yeah. Again, totally different movies. Nothing even remotely the same. And what's funny about this movie is Ryan Hurst. This movie was in 2000, and Ryan Hurst does not look like the Ryan Hurst that 8 years later played Opie on Sons of Anarchy.
Right.
When I found that out, I was like, oh my gosh, these are these like completely different human beings. And I love that. And Ethan Suplee's in it. um, Louis Lastic. He's a monstrous. He's huge in that movie. He just shed all his weight and is like ripped now. But it's an all-star cast. It's a great movie. And when I had cable and I would be scrolling for something to watch, if that movie came on, it was an automatic stop. It didn't matter what part of the movie it was in. It's great in the background. It's great to pay attention to. This is like it's been said, this is one of the greatest movies that Disney's ever produced sports-wise.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nobody mentioned Ryan Gosling, he was also on the team.
Which is why.
Yeah, he played Sunshine, didn't he?
No, not Sunshine. He was.
That wasn't him?
No, Sunshine was
Kip. It was
Purdue.
Kip Purdue. There we
But
go.
he played he was the safety, I think, that they pulled in favor of Donald Faison's character. And the dude was yelling and hollering and screaming in the stands, and a great moment in the game.
I just looked up Ethan Suplee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
amazing.
insane.
He had an
Insane.
amazing transformation.
Like a whole 180. It's insane.
Yeah,
for
Insane.
sure. Wow,
I'm
we
jealous.
recognize him. That's great.
Shout out to Ryan Gosling and Project Hail Mary. Go see it in theaters.
Yeah, listen, I'm about to drop a review on that one. That was good.
Hell yeah.
That's all I'll say here.
Nice. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, Remember the Titans. We've already talked about it at length.
Yep.
My cousin doing his thing.
There's the flex.
Yes. But yeah, amazing movie and generally high rewatch value. So love that. Okay, y'all, it's time for us to move on to our number one picks. Peter, you're up.
All right. For my number one, this is a movie I had to rewatch recently. This is a movie that actually was on my mind for quite some time now. And when I got invited to do this show and talk about top 5 movies for sports, this one immediately was like number one for me because I can't stop thinking about it. And that is Warrior. Warrior is based on MMA fighting. This is directed by Gavin O'Connor. It's got Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton. It's about like two brothers who have like a lot of trauma. They are dealing with like some personal issues, and the only way they could really solve some of these issues is really just join this tournament because one needs money and the other one's trying to like redeem himself a little bit. Seeing this movie last night again really hit my soul. Like I was literally crying like man tears because it's so well directed, but you feel like the emotion between both brothers. And you really want to root for both of them, but there's only one winner. And the journey between like Tom Hardy's character, Joel Edgerton, and them two kind of clashing, especially with like the family trauma from their father, who, oh my God, I can't think of the actor's name right now, but like Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte's the father, and he gives a phenomenal performance. I mean, this is someone who also went through like alcoholic addiction in this movie and trying to redeem himself with his boys. So there's a lot of family trauma. There's like unresolved issues brought upon each other. And just the journey where they get up to this tournament, it's not only heartbreaking, but it's also like you're cheering them on, but you're like, ooh, I want him to win, but also want you to win. And the way it ends is so satisfying. It doesn't need to like show every little detail, but just enough in the performances, their facial expressions. It really does bring in like just that heart that you want to see in a sports movie. Very inspirational, very heartbreaking at times. But I think Warrior just stands to me as the best sports movie of all time. It even introduced me to MMA fighting. I still watch it time to time. I have family members who are involved in fighting. And again, it just hits every single beat perfectly. This is a great movie to watch. It's on Paramount Plus or Amazon. Highly recommend watching it. Warrior, number one for me.
Okay, I don't know this film. I think that's very interesting.
I know of it. It's again on my radar.
Please watch it, guys. I highly recommend it. This came out 2011. Listen, it's worth the watch. A little bit longer, but it does talk about like a lot of like heavy hitting themes. But it's a great movie journey too. Awesome performances.
All right, cool. Jason, had you heard of this one?
I've heard of the movie, yes. I don't believe I've seen it.
For it to be number one on your list, it has to be like
Like
quite special. I don't know that I ever
it
even heard
is
of it.
quite special because there's a great redemption arc. There's a lot of stuff about like just dealing with like a lot of trauma in the past and how you carry it with you as a person. But again, it was very underrated, and I still think to this day it still holds up. And I think a lot of people are also discovering it when they do look at MMA fighting and they look at a movie like Warrior, like, oh wow, they actually depict the sport perfectly. And it's awesome. You guys definitely have to watch it.
Okay.
Check that out.
Yeah,
So
I'll have to look into it. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go next, and for my number one pick, I chose Glory Road. I did a review for this earlier this year because the movie turned 20 back in January, so feel free to check that out. But this is one of my absolute favorite sports movies. Over here, I don't know if you all can see it. I have a little thing over here with the LSU logo on it. I attended LSU, got my bachelor's degree in business from there, and this movie was actually filmed on the campus. So that's a little fun fact I like to squeeze in there sometimes. But this movie looms kind of large in my heart because of the whole underdog, theme, right? So it's the true story about Coach Don Haskins, who's played by Josh Lucas in this movie, and he was the basketball coach at the Texas Western School in El Paso. The school is now called UTEP. But in 1965 to 1966, Haskin recruited 7 black players to the basketball team, which was unheard of at the time because it was 1965. And they went on to be almost undefeated. They only lost 1 game that season. And in the championship that year, Don Haskins only played the 5 black players. Only played 5 black players. The rest of the team was made up of 5 non-black players, but during the championship, only the black players played, which made a big splash in 1966, and has changed the history of basketball. If we look at basketball now,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, 100%.
it's totally different.
Huh.
I'll say
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, one of the cool things about again, I love the historical element. One of the players on the opposing team, because they played Kentucky, I want to say the other team that they played in the championship game was Kentucky, and I'm don't hold me to that. But anyways, one of the players on that team was Pat Riley, and so we get to see like this long basketball history being made with these other players and coaches that really tell a story about how one person doing something different, opening the door for people, makes a big difference. And I think it's changed a lot of people's lives because only a few of the black players from this team went on to actually play professional basketball, but all of them got an education. And that was really important when we have athletes who previously didn't have access to education. And we think about how many people were able to enhance their lives through education, through sports. I think it's another important element of this story. Also, we rented this movie for my 16th birthday. We had a sleepover, and there are some beautiful men in this movie. And it's like, this movie came out at a very important time in my life, and I was like, yeah. I love looking at them, okay? Particularly Macan Brooks, he was my favorite. So yeah, anyways, we get to see the journey of how the infighting within the team, which is something that we also see on Remember the Titans. They are in the freaking desert in El Paso. That's its own type of isolation. We have Don Haskins and his family who are experiencing things like death threats. Like, it's a lot. But the triumph at the end ends up changing the sport. It changes the way, people of color get educations. I really love all of the things that kind of come out of this particular movie when it comes to the actual history behind it. So yeah, these are underdogs that weren't supposed to make it, and they changed history. So
Hell yeah.
that's why it's my number one pick.
Hell yeah.
Have any of you seen it?
No, I again, I know of it. Love Josh
Likewise.
Lucas.
Likewise, I've heard of it. I actually want to
Sweet.
see it, so it's definitely on my list now too. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna check it out. So the reason I didn't see it is a lot of the times when we have a movie that's dealing with 1960s or race, even it is more of a what I call a watering down
Okay.
almost. So and then I'm like I know it wasn't this
Peachy.
not easy. What's the word I'm looking for? This tame.
Uh-huh.
It was. I know it wasn't this tame back then. And so I watched the movie, and then it's like the racism is like, "Hey boy, where you going?" I'm like, "Come on, man." Like people say that now. You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. It just the
Yeah.
realism is
Yes.
not there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I don't gravitate towards those movies. But it's different than like a 42 or a race. Excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm learning about the background of everything that I don't know. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this was a Disney production.
Wow.
So there I watering down there
Oh, I
is a
have to
little
watch
bit
it.
of
Disney, man.
I think on some level it has to be palatable for, this particular audience. However, there are more intense scenes that show more gravity, I'll say. So I think they toe an interesting line in this movie.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Frank, what is your number one pick?
Okay. This is by far my absolute favorite sports movie of all time. Released in 1989 with an absolute phenomenal cast. Field of Dreams is my favorite sports movie of all time for multiple reasons. Kevin Costner, Ray Liotta, James Earl Jones, Amy Madigan. This was Burt Lancaster's final theatrical movie that he ever made. There's multiple stories going on under the plot of the If You Build It, They Will Come movie, where, Costner hears the voice, builds a baseball field in the middle of his cornfield. His house is going to foreclose. He goes on a trip and finds James Earl Jones' character, Terrence Mann. All these baseball players start showing up on this baseball field that only he can see. Then his wife can see them, and his daughter can see them. James Earl Jones, Terrence Mann can't see these characters, and then he suddenly can. And they bring this young kid back from Iowa, just this young kid that wants to be a baseball player. And he gets on the field and he's playing with the adults, and it's Shoeless Joe Jackson, and it's the Black Sox of I forget what year it was, but they supposedly bet on baseball, banned from the Hall of Fame, and it's all these characters that never quite made it to heaven. They existed in the cornfield, which I'm assuming it was like purgatory, and the little girl falls off the back of the bleacher stand that she's sitting on, and she's choking on a hot dog. And here, kid comes and walks across the baseball line, and he turns into this adult doctor who passed away years and years before, but never got his chance to play in the major leagues. And he saves her life, and that's it. He can't go back to the baseball field. He has to go into the cornfield. And there's so many different little subplots in this, but the part of the movie that gets me, and Peter said man tears earlier, the end of the movie where Kevin Costner's character has a baseball catch with his father, who comes out of the cornfield to play. That him and his dad had a strained relationship at a certain point, and he never got that closure with his dad. And they stand there and they just have a baseball catch on this baseball field. And I break down into waterworks every single time I see this movie. My father passed away 8 years ago. We had a pretty good relationship, but I remember playing catch with him as a kid. And that parallel, we didn't have the drama, but just that that action of having to catch and then watching that on TV and knowing that that's not there. It breaks me every time. And it is my absolute
Great choice.
all-time favorite movie.
Great choice.
I actually have not seen
yeah.
Field of
Yeah.
Dreams.
Love
As
that
you started
description.
describing it, I was like, this
Yeah.
actually sounds cool. I don't
It's such a good movie. And it's a real baseball field in Iowa. And Major League has played 2 games so far at this. I think the bleachers, they only hold about 8,000 people. And this year, my baseball team, my Philadelphia Phillies, get to play, I believe, Kansas City at that field. It's a bucket list that my friends and I are trying to figure out. When did the tickets go on sale? How can we get there? Can we make this happen? Because it's just the Yankees played. I believe it was the White Sox.
Recall,
Yankees,
yeah.
White Sox played the first one, and Kevin Costner walked them out of the cornfield to the baseball game, and it was just such a moment.
Wow.
Because Costner, I believe, he built his own baseball field at one of
It's
his
insane.
houses. It's just, yeah, it chills every time I see it, and tears.
that's another one that I'm going to have to put on my list. I don't know that I knew what the movie was really about.
There's a lot more. I'm just kind of glossing over it, but there's a lot more that goes on in that movie. It's such a good story too. I don't know if that. I don't
thought
think
so at
that was
first,
a
but it's
Disney
not.
movie.
I was just checking. No.
It's not. Okay. Still great. That's my all-time.
I can't argue with
favorite
that. I need to do a rewatch of that. Now that you just really touched my soul there for a second, I gotta do a rewatch.
Yeah. That movie would come on, and then like I catch it in the middle. So I've
Yeah.
never actually seen it from beginning to end. So now I have to,
Yeah.
man. So it's on Netflix apparently. So
Yep.
I'll put that on
It's
my
kind of
list.
funny
Look
because
that on tonight.
I was born in
probably.
92,
Yeah.
but my mom collected a lot of VHS tapes for like certain movies. And you know, VHS tapes, they play like a little bit of like trailers for movies for like they're promoting whatever they like. And
Yeah.
I remember
Mhm.
seeing Field of Dreams as a trailer for one movie. I forget what it was, but just seeing like that trailer was awesome. I was like, I gotta watch this. This looks cool. And I'm like, not into like baseball. I'm like only like 5 years old. I'm like, but this looks awesome. Like it's in the cornfield. Like who would have thought? But oh man, yeah, it's a good one.
Yep.
All right, nice pick. All right, Jason, you're the last one to close this out with your number one
There's
pick.
no way I'm going after that. There's absolutely no. All right, guys. So, all right. So my last pick, and this might not be the greatest sports movie of all time, but I will say this is my favorite, and it's Shaolin Soccer, 2001, directed by my top. He's my top 3, but I'll say top 5 director, Stephen Chow. I absolutely love this. So if you don't know kind of my history, I know me and Kira spoke about this already, but um, I was a martial artist growing up. So, I was more into, action and martial arts. So when I was pretty much trying to watch everything martial arts, right? Ong Bak, you got, Bruce Lee films, all of them, The Last Dragon, everything, right? So when this came out, this was the first Stephen Chow film I watched, and then was a fan ever since. So there's a Kung Fu Hustle that he's done that you might have recognized. He knows how to bring action and comedy together, especially with the martial arts. So in this one, it's about soccer, right? He's down and out, and you find out that him and his brothers are martial artists. There's someone who tries to make money, with this, or thinks it's a good idea, who is a soccer coach, a disgraced quote unquote soccer coach. And so he finds Stephen Chow, who stars in it, gets his brothers together and teaches them how to play soccer. But they're kung fu masters. So like each one of them has a different martial arts style that they're, particularly good with. So the whole thing is they're fighting, well, they're playing teams and they're even fighting within the game. There's humor in it, and each brother has its their own unique style of martial arts. So Stephen Chow's character is Golden Leg, so he's great with the kicks. The heavyset brother was like lighter than air. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. And then you had the goalie who's good with his hands, etc., etc. So I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and as a martial artist, this was right up my alley. And as I said earlier, I'm not totally into sports, but this made me take a second look at the sport. So um, this was just a great turn your brain off soccer martial arts movie, And I never seen them blended before, so that was different.
Yo, the fact that you integrate both sports into one movie, it's so impressive. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
A
god.
twofer, right?
I've never heard of it. It
Yo.
looks
Me either.
interesting.
You will
Oh,
love
really?
it.
I think
Yeah.
I think you'd like it. I think you'd like it. If you like martial arts even a little bit, like, it's good special effects, by the way, even for the time too. It might not look like, Interstellar or like Avatar, right?
Yeah.
But for the time, they had some good special effects. Like there's a scene where Stephen Chow is fighting the last team, right? They're like the dark evil team, right? They're literally Team Evil is what they're called, I think. But he does his martial arts so well that like there's like a streak of fire that goes across the like stuff like that. It's silly. It's but I think the story is good. And he even meets someone who I think her name is May, who doesn't believe in herself, but they help her find the confidence within herself. Like little things like that throughout the story that put it in my top spot.
It's a great movie. I haven't seen a movie in years. My great memory of that movie was at the time I was visiting my cousin in Brooklyn, and in every bodega there would be some guy selling bootleg movies, and he picked up Shaolin Soccer, and I was like, "We're gonna watch this tonight," and we like loved it. Like we like mimic all the moves and stuff of a soccer ball.
Yep.
Like it's such a fun sports
Yep.
comedy too. Like that's so fun. That's a good choice.
Yep. It's like when it comes to Stephen Chow,
Yeah.
Shaolin Soccer, Kung Fu Hustle, no matter what, like I think I saw this on bootleg first. Don't tell anyone.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
DVDs, I had those movies. Blu-ray, I bought it again. You know what I mean? And if they come out with whatever else, I'm gonna probably get it again. So
100%.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I haven't heard of it. Okay.
Your list is just growing bigger and bigger after this pod.
I know. List of movies I
feel
need
so
to watch.
bad.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, cool. All right, y'all. Well, that was such a good time. We made it all the way through our list and we had a little bit of overlap. I think Remember the Titans, is that the only one that was there was some overlap, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, that was mentioned 3 times. Okay, cool. So I really appreciate you all for being here. And we talked a little bit about this before we started filming today, but narrowing things down to 5 was really, really hard. So I want to give each of you an opportunity to talk about like your honorable mentions. Peter, you go ahead and go first. Let us know some things that like almost made your list but didn't.
Yeah, I'll make this real quick too. So I would say one, this is no order whatsoever. Challengers, directed by Luca Guadagnino. This is a sports movie about tennis, and there's a great love triangle. I love that movie. I think it has a great soundtrack too, and the tension in that movie is thick. But my God, that payoff at the end is phenomenal. The Karate Kid, I mean, that's like kung fu right there, right? Like karate was such a pivotal moment in our childhood lives, especially in the 90s. I think if you're someone who grew up with like Power Rangers, like you just want to be like a karate kid. And I think that movie solidified the coolness of being a kid and learning martial arts and having a great mentor as well. Also leading to an amazing film series and a show on Netflix with Cobra Kai. I, Tonya, very underrated, great performance by Margot Robbie. Love that movie to pieces. Another comedy, The Waterboy, great Adam Sandler comedy. You can do it. quotable as well.
Yeah.
I could quote that movie for ages. Such a great fun sports comedy based on football. And lastly, just recently, shout out to F1. That's a great movie based on the F1 sports racing thingamajiggy. Can't say words right now, but F1 was such a great movie to watch in IMAX. The sound design, the actors involved, the acting, the racing, such a good movie. And just putting everything in the top five was hard, but those are some honorable mentions I had to mention here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I resonate with pretty much all of those. I haven't seen F1 or Challengers. Actually, you're one of the few people that I know actually likes that movie. If I'm if I'm remembering
Yeah,
correctly.
Challengers is a
I
mixed
think
bag
that
for a
is.
lot of people, but I think to me it's just one of my favorites.
Okay, cool. All right, Frank, you go next. What were some of your honorable mentions?
I'm actually shocked that none of us took A League of Their Own
Mm.
as an honorable mention. Well,
That's
not as I'm sorry, in the
yeah.
top five. But a top five again is hard. League of Their Own is again great cast, great movie, great story, based on realism, which is great. I had Bull Durham and The Sandlot. I had Any Given Sunday and Varsity Blues are
Mm-hmm.
just again great movies. Miracle, Disney again hitting it out of the park with a great based on a true story, and given that Team USA just won the gold, it just kind of reemphasizes that. And one that absolutely comedic wise does not hold up in any way, shape, or form today, but Caddyshack is
Yeah.
one of the funniest movies in the world that is very hard to put in a top five. The humor does not hold up, but it's still absolutely hilarious.
Agreed. Caddyshack is goated.
Awesome.
Haven't seen it.
It does not hold up at all, but it's really funny.
It's fun.
It's
Yeah.
it's crass humor at its
Mhm.
best with nudity that isn't needed at any other point in the movie that just all of a sudden it's hey, there you are. It's
That's
a
the
typical
70s and
80s,
80s though.
70s and 80s. It's just, oh, hey, look, there you all are. Good. All of you. Cool.
Like everyone in the background just like topless,
The
like
hell
what?
of a year.
Yep. Yep.
For
Oh,
no
we're all,
reason.
we're all going to jump in a pool. Let's just not have any clothes on and let's just jump in the
Right.
pool. That's cool. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. That's hilarious. Okay, cool. All right, nice list. Nice honorable mentions list. Jason, you go next. What were some of the ones that almost made it to your list?
All right, guys, you got to bear with me, please, because like I said, I almost did a top 10. So I have some things crossed off that were mentioned already. So my honorable mentions is in no order, but Karate Kid was brought up, 42 was brought up, Bring It On, and Slapshot was brought up. Those were all in my
Wow.
Wow.
honorable mentions. Now, I'm going to start with maybe the ones we didn't mention. And I'll start here because I kind of need help with this one. I'm not even sure if this can be considered. And I mentioned this earlier because of Newman, The Sting,
Yeah.
because technically it's horse racing.
Oh, I mean,
But
Still a
that sounds
sport.
like a
what
sport to
but
me.
what they're doing is like hustling. You know what I mean? And so I
It,
wasn't sure because they don't actually show any horse racing in it. So that's why I was
Okay.
like, "Ooh." But I absolutely love The Sting. That movie I saw first in high school, and again, the teacher brought in the TV, but the way he showed it to us is part of the reason why I think I like film so much now. And what he did was he was going through different scenes, and like for instance, he'd be like, "Oh, you hear when they say this or they mean this," you know what I mean? Like he was explaining the scenes and the breakdowns, and it was a dated movie, so he was explaining how different things were then versus now. The way he did it was great. I can't even do it like him. But he made me understand like, oh, the music has something to do with how they're feeling, or this shot is slowed down because of XYZ, and it stretches it out, gives it a little bit more anticipation. Like that's how he was showing it to me, and it was like social studies class. I don't know where he came from. That was very different from him. Anyway, but just moving on, just to list them, The Air Up There, with
Okay.
Kevin Bacon. It was one of the first movies, sports movies, excuse me, that I've seen. I actually went. My grandfather had me rent this at a random place actually, and I picked it out, and I didn't know anything about it, but I ended up really liking that movie. Kevin Bacon is a sports agent. He goes to Africa to find the next NBA star. Space Jam,
Mm-hmm.
Moneyball, Bagger Vance, Coach Carter, White Man Can't Jump, 1992. Don't bring that other trash. I don't even consider that a movie. Angels in the Outfield, The
Mm-hmm.
Sandlot, Love and Basketball. I put A League of Their Own. Forgot to cross it out. But then and Dodgeball, and then Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh,
I didn't
Yeah.
know
Those
Eddie
are
wow!
all
was
my
All
in
great
it.
I
picks.
mentioned.
Yeah.
All great
Yeah,
picks. No Airbud from anybody.
that's
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I didn't
I thought somebody would mention
know.
Airbud.
I mean, I saw it, yes, but it wasn't something I was like, yeah, I want to
Yeah,
see
I want to
this
see a
a lot.
Labradoodle throw
Yeah.
some hoops. Why not? Just-
yes, love that. Okay, cool. Not nice list. Yeah, I was having a conversation with my husband about all the different sports movies that we could think about. So I have a list too, and I'll just go through them. Remember the Titans, of course, was one of the ones that was on my list, but I didn't want to do too many football movies. There was also I haven't seen this movie, but I'm surprised no one said Ali. I also liked Radio, which nobody mentioned yet. We talked about Mighty Ducks and Airbud. I really enjoyed Angels in the Outfield as a child. Another movie that I feel like doesn't get enough accolades, Pride. The movie about the swimming team with what's the guy's Terrence Howard.
Haven't seen it.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the black swimming
Mhm.
team. It was a good movie. I also kind of went back and forth a little bit about Jerry Maguire because I didn't know if that counted as a sports movie.
It's
Um,
on. It's on almost every top like list of sports movie.
Mhm.
Jerry
okay,
Maguire.
yeah,
Yeah, that definitely.
okay. Also, like Mike, which I
Oh
enjoyed a
my
lot as a child
god!
watching
I
the
forgot
Bow
about like my.
Wow.
Oh my
Oh my
God,
god!
yeah, like Mike. Oh man,
That's the one
wow,
where he had like the Jordan shoes on.
yeah.
He just magically became like Michael Jordan in a way.
Mhm.
Oh my god! I forgot about that. That's a
exactly.
gem.
Mhm. Yep, a gem from my childhood. A movie that I didn't expect to really like that came out fairly recently was Hustle with
Yeah.
Okay,
Adam
Hmm.
Sandler. I really enjoyed that movie a lot, and I was like, this is really fun. Coach Carter. Nobody's mentioned this one yet, but The Longest Yard. That one was a
yeah,
funny.
Both are good.
I was gonna say which
Both
one
of
though,
them
because
are
I say
good.
both are really good.
yeah.
Both are
Oh,
great.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
Adam Sandler. I don't know.
So yeah, it's funny because when I knew that movie was coming out, I went back to watch the old one before it dropped.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
with
Burt
what Burt
Reynolds.
Russell,
Burt Reynolds.
Burt
Yep.
Reynolds, excuse me.
Time for Burt Reynolds'
Yeah,
mustache. I don't know if you all know that reference.
Oh,
I don't know. It was from was it I Love the 80s? There was like and
oh, okay, okay.
yeah, and they would do the different iterations of Burt Reynolds' mustache across the years. I also have Ford versus Ferrari on
Very
here,
solid.
which
Very
Really
solid.
like that movie.
look, I wasn't a big fan of the movie because I kind of don't care about car racing, but at the end I dropped some tears. I was like, "Oh my
That ending
gosh."
does hurt a little bit.
I yes, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that man can't catch a break." Another thing that I really wanted to put on my list that I don't have enough history with to do it was Talladega Nights, which is a super fun movie. Also, Blades of Glory, which I really enjoy. You know, it gets the people going. I also have Bench Warmers on here, which I think is a fun movie too. and then Hardball, which was another movie that I mentioned earlier. So I had a bunch of stuff that I had to sift through, but nobody said Million Dollar Baby, which I think is interesting. All right, so we made our way through all of the honorable mentions and through all of our list. I am really happy that you all joined me today. It's been a really fun discussion. Been super into it. So I want to give you all an opportunity before we close out to share again once more where people can find you, give you an opportunity to say bye to the audience, and so we can go ahead and close out. So we're gonna kick it off with Frank. Frank, go ahead and share with the class.
Before I share that, I had one quick question I wanted to ask about movies. Do you consider Air a sports movie? I watched it again last night, and I forgot to put this in my honorable mentions. So Air is the story of Nike signing Michael Jordan to his shoe deal. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Viola Davis.
Great movie.
It's a absolutely great movie that has almost zero sports in it at all. And they had to go to Michael Jordan to get permission to do all this. And they don't actually show Michael Jordan in the movie. There's an actor that's playing him, but they don't actually show him, and he doesn't really have any lines. And Michael's biggest thing was Viola Davis had to play his mom in the movie. So they cast Viola Davis, and that's actually her husband. I wasn't sure if that was considered an actual sports movie because there's literally no sports in it.
I would consider it a sports movie only because it deals with sports culture. So it's going around the shoe that was being made, Michael Jordan, sports icon, So I feel like it lives in that world.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Jason on that one. It's in sports culture. I mean, I have so many Jordans in my closet. Like that shoe is so like important for a lot of people in our lives, not just for like lifestyle wear, but like for like athletic wear too. And yeah, that movie's great too. Like that, definitely a sports movie. It's got to be. It's iconic
I
shoe.
haven't seen it.
Oh,
I haven't
Attitude
seen it,
Dude.
but if Jerry Maguire is a sports movie, I think Air would probably.
That's fair.
if Harry Potter's a sports movie, then I think Air is also a sports movie.
There we go. Talk about it.
I didn't want to go there, but
Oh, love that. Okay, cool.
So to close out, like you said, you can find me and my friend Jack every Monday night, unless I have a hockey game, at 7:00 on YouTube, on Facebook, Geek Spot News. And you can find me Wednesdays, usually Wednesdays, Thursdays with T, the Island of Relevancy podcast. We stream live on YouTube. It's all wrestling contests for the island, and Geek Spot News is a little bit of hodgepodge of geek news and what we're watching. And it's a great fun time. And thank you for this. This has been absolutely awesome and so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you coming and giving me a lot more movies to watch. So I've appreciated the discussion. All right, fantastic. All right, Jason, you go next.
All right. Just to mirror what Frank said, this was again a very fun list that we had to pull and put up. But you can find me at screen_zen across social media, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok mainly. Give you movie reviews, some reactions, and I even talk about some entertainment news and have conversations around that. So if you're looking to, join, have that conversation, by all means, we love to have you.
All right, fantastic. And thank you for joining me again as my returning guest this time around. All right, lovely. All right, Peter, you're up.
Hey, you guys can find me at Peter Meets Film on YouTube and also on all social media brands as well. I'm doing a comeback in April. I'm going to start releasing reviews again for a lot of movies and shows. I think there's a lot of good stuff coming this summer too. So I would love to get my opinion on those films and also bring along you guys as well. I think there's a great group here, and I think everyone should follow these people on this chat because everyone's awesome here. And I look forward to seeing everyone in my channel as well under Peter Meets Film.
Yes, yeah. Thank you all so much for being here. This was an extremely fun list to put together. So, huge thanks to all three of you for joining me today. So, make sure you all check out their channels and that you subscribe, and all the links and stuff will be in the description for you. Now, it's our turn to hear from you. What are your top 5 sports movies? Put those down below in the comments or hit us up on our social media pages. You can find us, of course, here on YouTube, as well as Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and now TikTok. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our new top 5 episodes or any of our new podcast episodes. Now, okay, y'all, we got a lot of different things coming up. It's the end of March now, but in April, we're doing something special. So I'm starting a series on the podcast called April Fools, where I'm going to be reviewing all comedies. And we have some really cool things coming up, and I decided to do it in a way that was very interesting. So for the first episode of the April Fools, series, I'm going to be reviewing a movie that's turning 50 years old, which is Car Wash. Came out in 1976. The second movie I'm going to be reviewing is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is turning 40 this year. Then I'm going to be watching a movie that I actually haven't heard of, but it is a Spike Lee production called Girl 6 that came out in 1996. And then I'm going to end it with a very interesting pick. I'm sure you all have heard of this movie, Slither. That's
Yes.
20 this year.
Yes.
Which is a little bit of a horror comedy. So we got doing some very interesting things in April. So make sure that you are subscribed and that you stay tuned. And once again, I am so happy that you all joined me today. It was a great discussion. And you all stay tuned. Click the notification bell, do all of that good stuff, and make sure you're listening whenever we put out those podcasts next month. So thanks for listening and watching, and we will see you next time. Peace out.